10th standard social science class. In the previous class, we have learned some topics from the first chapter, Medieval World Centers of Power. From this video, we will learn the remaining part of that chapter. After the Western and Eastern Roman Empire, the third center of power is Arab Empire. The region, which included Iraq, Iran and Saudi Arabia, was known as Arabia. The Arabs made outstanding contributions to the medieval world. In the political sphere also, they contributed a lot. Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, was the head of the Arab state. We have to learn three dynasties in the Arab Empire. First one, period of caliphs. After the death of Prophet Muhammad in 632 CE, Arabia was ruled by the caliphs. During their reign, the Arab Empire was very vast, which included regions from Asia Minor to the Arabian Sea. Their capital was Medina. The second dynasty was Umayyad dynasty. After the early caliphs, Arabia was ruled by the Umayyad dynasty. They introduced centralized administration in Arabia. The gold coin dinar and the silver coin dirham were issued by the Umayyads. Their capital was Damascus. After the Umayyads, the Abbasids became the rulers. During the period of the Abbasids, the capital was shifted to Baghdad. The most famous ruler of the Abbasid dynasty was Harun al-Rashid. Then the reforms of Harun al-Rashid. As a benevolent ruler, he implemented many welfare measures. It was during his period that hospitals were established in Arabia for the first time. Judicial administration was based on the principles of Islam and the rule of law was strictly observed. The people were free to travel anywhere in the empire without fear. Harun al-Rashid established contacts with the Holy Roman Empire and sent ambassadors to the palace of Shalami. Next center of power is the Ottoman Empire. With the capture of Constantinople in 1453 CE by the Turkish leader Muhammad II, the Ottoman Empire was strengthened. By then, many territories of Eastern Roman Empire had become a part of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire reached its zenith during the time of Suleiman. Then we can understand the reforms of Suleiman. He was called Al-Kanuni, that means the lawgiver. He codified the Ottoman laws and established centralized administration in the empire. During this period, many regions of Europe became part of the Ottoman Empire. Thus, the Europeans realized the military strength of Asia through the Ottoman rulers. The Ottoman Empire disintegrated after the First World War. Then we reached at the Mongol Empire. Mongolia is the region between Russia and China in Central Asia. It is a region characterized by vast meadows, deserts and mountains. The climate of Mongolia is extreme, severely hot in the summer and extremely cold in the winter. The Mongols were nomads who lived in tents. There were different tribes among the Mongols who always roamed around on horses. It was Genghis Khan who unified them and founded the Mongolian Empire. Let us see the reforms of Genghis Khan. The seat of Genghis Khan was at Karakoram on the banks of the river Onon in Siberia. The chief characteristic feature of the Mongol army was its strong cavalry. Genghis Khan arranged his army in the multiples of 10. The main attraction of the army was the small cannons which could be used while sitting on horseback. Genghis Khan also maintained a well organized espionage. To connect the distant places of the empire with the administrative center, the Mongolians introduced a postal system using horses. This communication system was known as the courier. The courier system of Genghis Khan was speedy and effective. Next center of power is the Mali Empire. The Mali Empire was one of the famous empires of medieval Africa. The center of administration was Mali in West Africa. Kangan Musa was a famous ruler of medieval Africa who was known in European records as Mansa Musa. Mali had huge treasures of gold and hence it was a very wealthy region at that time. Then we can understand the importance of Timbuktu in the Mali Empire. Timbuktu in the Empire of Mali was the most important cultural and commercial center of medieval Africa. Merchants from Venice, Granada and Genoa reached Timbuktu for marketing their merchandise such as gold and ivory. It was also a center of slave trade. The University of Timbuktu was one of the leading centers of knowledge of that period. The university attracted students from all parts of the world. The great mosque constructed by Kangan Musa at Timbuktu was the leading center of Islamic studies during the medieval period. The next two centers of power were China and Japan. China and Japan were the countries in Asia where efficient administrative system existed during the medieval period. Let us understand these centers of power separately. First one, China. In the initial stage of the medieval period, China was ruled by Tang dynasty. The sovereignty of the country was vested in the emperor. State officials were selected after conducting competitive examinations based on the criteria of education and excellence. The Tang rulers were tolerant towards all religions and were great promoters of trade and commerce. After the Tang dynasty, China was ruled by the Song, Ming and Manchu dynasties. The second one is Japan. In medieval Japan also, the emperor was the supreme head in political affairs, but the administration was overhauled by the feudal lords known as shoguns. Land was under their control. It was under the shoguns that Tokyo emerged as the center of power. Let us understand the center of power in American continent also. From ancient time onwards, indigenous civilizations prevailed in both North and South America. These civilizations continued to exist in the medieval period also. Then, North American civilizations. Mississippi, Caribbean, Magellan, Padayan, etc. were the North American civilizations prevailed in medieval period. Which are the South American civilizations? Mayan, Inca, Aztec, Toltec, etc. were the South American civilizations that prevailed in the medieval period. In their quest for establishing colonies, The Europeans reached America in the 16th century. They destroyed the native cultures and started plantations and mines there. The Negroes of Africa were brought to America as slaves to work in these places. The natives were subjected to genocide. We have reached at the last topic, feudalism, and which are the circumstances that led to the decline of feudalism. What is feudalism? The socio political economic system existed in medieval Europe based on land was known as feudalism. From the 15th century onwards, feudalism began to decline in Europe. Which are the circumstances that led to the decline of feudalism? First one, towards the end of the medieval period, agricultural production decreased considerably due to climate change. This resulted in the outbreak of famines in many parts of Europe. Second one, the continuous occurrence of plague known as Black Death wiped off nearly half of the population of Europe. Third one, the Crusades shattered many of the feudal lords. Fourth one, the monopoly of gunpowder enabled the kings to suppress feudal nobles. Fifth one, the new middle class that emerged as a result of the growth of trade also helped the rulers to subdue feudal lords. And last one, the outbreak of many peasant revolts and wars in different parts of Europe weakened the lords and strengthened the authority of the kings. This led to the emergence of nation states. From this chapter, we can understand the different forms of power in the medieval world.